Hello and welcome to the show today. My guests are two of the creative minds behind the excellent DC Chronicles series. Let's go to a clip now to see a piece of their work.
Is that our target?
Can't tell under that mask. Take off your mask!
You heard him. Remove your masking glasses.
Sir, should I use the flash? Sir? Take him out!
Isn't that just marvellous, people? Ladies and gentlemen, Drakortha and dctcool.
Hello!
Hey!
Hi, we're here all week. Not really.
Until Thursday. Wait, it's Thursday now.
Actually, it's Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Whereabouts in the world you are.
I'm forgetting what part of the world I'm in.
Okay, well, thank you both for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Now, first things first, let's start with you, Drakortha. What got you into making the DC Chronicles? What inspired you?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to a lot of my love for the series Fallout. I'd been playing Fallout since, I was 10 years old, really. And ever since then, the entire world, the characters, all that always intrigued me. And I guess the lack of a 3D engine and the lack of machinima tools sort of is what is the reason why I never made one over the years. But now that Fallout 3 came out, it was definitely something on my mind to do a series with characters and emotions and all that stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty much the reason, the inspiration behind DC Chronicles.
Now, you're both writers on the show, so how did you two meet up to do this?
Well, basically, Aaron and I, we first had met up beforehand. We met in 2007 in Sydney during the YouTube Australia launch. We got to know each other pretty well then. We kept in contact pretty much since then. I had been making YouTube videos for quite a while, and it was also about a year after I met him that I started doing a film and television course. I was getting some experience with script writing and also film production. So when Aaron was putting together DC Chronicles, he became aware of the course I was doing because, as I said, we kept in contact. We met later in Sydney in 2009, where he pretty much brought me on board. First of all, as an assistant writer for DC Chronicles, starting with episode 6, and from there on in, I sort of become one of the main writers for the series.
Yeah, and dctcool did a lot of other work prior to episode 6 as well. He wasn't under an official title per se, but he had a lot of he had a couple roles doing voice acting, and he also contributed a lot of ideas to the earlier episodes as well. So it was always something that I think he always showed a lot of interests in the series. So I think that he really was a big part of why he became a main writer for the series.
Yeah, I think it was because I got a very creative mind. Yeah, that.
Yeah, that's episode 2 right there. He was
right there.
You did episode 4 as well. One of the guys who got mauled by the death claw.
Oh god! It's a freaking death claw.
Now, while making the series, what's like the most difficult part about doing it?
Probably would have to be converting the writing of the series and on the script to actual filming. A lot of things that are done in the scripts don't transfer well over to the screen when it comes to machinima, especially when it comes to animations or interactions between characters. I hate to say it, but the Gamebryo engine, which is the engine Oblivion, Morrowind, Fallout 3 uses, is the characters' animations are very wooden. It's definitely not the engine's strong point. A lot of the great things about the engine would have to be the modding capabilities and the ability to sort of jump into the GEC and like just play with the world as you see fit, but at the same time there comes disadvantages, and the same thing happens with a lot of other series. Something done in, say, Gmod, it basically nails the animations and the characters really well, but it's really hard to get huge, open, expansive environments as well.
Yeah,
So,
one of the main issues with writing with machinima is you have to be fully aware of the limitations that the engine has. I've run into a couple of these issues from time to time. There was a scene in episode 6 where I want to have the character that was causing such a ruckus to be dragged off by the guards, but the engine wouldn't actually do that, so unfortunately we had to cut that out, which was a shame.
yeah, and a lot of stuff from the 7th episode as well, especially with the ending Enclave scene between Andrew Grafton and the Enclave. We're going to have a scene where Andrew came under too much fire and he had to like dive and go through a window, and a lot of that stuff had to be cut from the script. And by the end of all the cutting things out and replacing things, the scene ends up being dramatically different to what was originally intended, for better or for worse. I don't know, but yeah, a lot of the time you've got this really good idea, and in your mind you've basically pictured a pretty good idea of what the scene's going to look like, and you really want to show that to the audience. But just a lot of the time, it has to be sort of cut out due to machinima restrictions. So, yeah.
It's a shame, really. It's got some really creative stuff, but sometimes it's just the limitations and the barriers that keep you back.
Yeah, but not to be a drag or anything, because a lot of the time scenes do turn out better than expected as well, especially with Andrew Grafton and Michael finding the vault. It actually, after all the editing and the filming, it just turned out a lot better than I expected it to be as well. And the same goes with the death claw scenes from episode 4 and 5. So it's not always so bad. Some things transfer better than others, but yeah.
Now, between the two of you, which is your favorite machinima that you like to sit down and watch in your spare time?
dctcool, I'll let you go first.
Well, I was pretty much a late boomer coming into the machinima series, but I have watched a couple of machinima series. Most of the Drakortha stuff I've already seen. Other stuff that I've watched, I gotta say, I've got a guilty pleasure for Sanity Not Included. That's a comedy series on machinima. Smashtasm. There was another Fallout series that I watched a while ago, but I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. It had to do with a young girl trying to find her parents, but there was a sentry bot that was trying to keep her within her vault. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. Do you know what I'm talking?
This is a Fallout 3 one, yeah?
Yes.
I know the one. I know the one. Just from the back of my head. Damn, I don't remember.
I think it's. I'm not sure. It's worth. I've seen that. I think it's called Project Reborn or Rebirth.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes, that's it. I'll say either you probably know that, or someone in the comments here would probably know that.
I haven't seen it myself, but I do know the series you're talking about.
Yeah, I have watched a bit of it. There's some interesting writing going into it. This is something that I didn't actually watch before I was writing for DC Chronicles, but I compared that to how I've written, and it's a very different style of approach from a writing perspective. So it gives me a kind of idea of what it's like being in a competition of machinima-based works, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, honestly, a lot of people are probably going to be a bit surprised by this, but I honestly don't really watch machinima. Even before DC Chronicles, I was always a big fan of the series, and I always loved, the story and the characters in it. But that was my inspiration for my machinima, rather than other machinimas themselves. I did see a lot of I did see a lot of Red versus Blue back in the early days. I think
we all saw that.
Yeah, everyone's. But I liked that. I enjoyed that, and that was back when they were still doing episodes. But I don't know. machinima never really did it for me when it came, as a viewer. Um, I think more of my inspiration comes from movies and video games and music than actual machinima. So
Yeah, I agree with Aaron here. My influence mainly comes from movies, also some TV shows. Not really that machinima. Like I look at machinima and I look at film, and it's two completely different mediums. Yet at the same time, they're both storytelling devices that can be used. But
yeah,
it's really a new form of art that's really starting to emerge. Starting to become really mainstream, and I've seen a lot of it like recently. In fact, I actually did a research paper on machinima for my final uni assessment when I actually did a presentation of the DC Chronicles for the work I had done throughout the year, and the lecturer that was judging me on it was absolutely blown away by this brand new art form that she had never heard of it before, and she was just absolutely mesmerized. So it kind of became a case where I was lecturing the lecturer.